Okay, so far throttle body is off. Throttle control bracket is off the back. All the bolts are in for there. Thermostat is out. Thermostat bolts are on a piece of paper. Distributor is out. Distributor bolt is in the block. Wire. Radiator hose that goes into intake for the cooling of the EGR is coming off. Electronic bracket also coming off. That's Rob. I'm Matt. That's Paul. That is off. I'm just going to set these down here. Get them out of the way for now. Intake bolts are off. Paul has nicely put them on a paper for us. Power pack is off the back of the intake. The only other electronic piece on the back is the EGR connection, which will come off when the intake comes up. And that is about it. Okay, intake is off. One vacuum line, the main vacuum control line, comes off the back of the intake, goes to the S on the vacuum T right here. Other than that, that is the only part that connects under the intake. The other one is just a drain hose that falls off to the passenger side rear of the engine. Other than that, we're looking good for now. 8 injectors and the fuel rails are going to be coming out very soon. Just a shot of that. That's nothing special. That's pretty self-explanatory. These wiring harnesses and things, I'm going to set out of the way. This is the distributor drive with the distributor plug. I'm going to go ahead and put that off to the side here, and all the rest of the wiring will go with the fuel injectors. This is the oil sending unit. It goes down the front of the head, but because we're taking the intake off intact, which is what we've opted to do now, intake will be completely intact. Fuel injectors, fuel rails, everything is staying on the intake. Power packs are disconnected from the top. They just push right back on, as we found out, and that's about all the disconnections for now. All the wires, all the electronics, everything is staying right on the intake. We're going to leave the water temperature sending unit in. The only other things I think we may have to take off will be the 2 water lines off the back going into the heater core. Other than that, the safety clamps are removed from the quick release fuel rails already, and after that we're ready to take everything off. Alright, if you want to come around here and see this, taking the valve covers off, both sides, the rockers are set. They're Scorpion 1.6s. You can see the little Scorpions, you can see the 1.6s.
What type of rockers are these, Matt?
Scorpion 1.6s, Rob.
Rocker, pedestal?
Stud mount.
Stud mount.
And
question answered for Steven.
Guide plates and everything are in there. We're going to take them off one by one, mark where they go with what, all that crap. Headers are going to be disconnected very soon. The only other thing we have that's a problem here is getting these 2 hoses off the back. Once that is off, disconnect the 12 bolts that are on the intake will come off, and then we'll worry about what's underneath that. And after that, just start beating away with a rubber mallet, and we're going to take the heads off. So that's about it for right now. That's Rob. Rob is taking out the last bolt of the intake because I have a gimpy right arm, so I can't do it. And as soon as that bolt comes up, I'm going to hit it a couple times with the rubber mallet, and it should lift right off. We promise nothing now. But it's so pretty. Everything's so nice and clean in there.
Not bad for almost hitting 100,000. I think Steven's motor only had 25 and got rid of it.
Yep. Other than that, we're doing okay here. Must remember when messing with the rockers, these are double rockers. You have to unlock the inside of the rocker with an Allen wrench, then loosen the top. Otherwise, you'll just end up buying a new set of rockers. And probably a new set of heads because it just won't unscrew. That's the trouble there, Ron?
Well, it's finally loosening up.
Now, this is just a big joke. That's really not the right bolt. That's the one that holds the transmission on, so I might hear a big crash after Rob gets done there. So, it's amazing how much smaller the engine gets when it's gone. We'll go ahead and videotape the pistons once we get the heads off to see how they look. is actually doing a damn thing. Let's see here. Oh. Lift from the rear there, Rob. The gasket in the rear.
Is this your mom?
Yeah.
She want me to move?
Make sure there's nothing holding onto the back of the intake there. Just look. There's nothing else on there that's connected, right?
Fuel rail. Ground? Is that to the block?
Ground should be to the block.
What's this? Are we able to take it out?
Yeah. Got that phone?
Hold on. Something holding me down. There's a cable wrapped in here. There's a cable wrapped in here.
Okay.
See, this one little cable.
Alright. There's a bolt on the back of the driver's side head. That is a ground bolt. That connects to the intake, and then there's one that comes off the side and goes to the side of the car. Both those must be connected back on. What is the point of having a ground bolt on an aluminum head? I don't know. But that's about it for now. The bolt in the back of the head where it came from, it's a 1/2-inch bolt, as everything else on this engine has seemed to be so far. And at this point, Rob, you may lift out your intake. We got some fuel dripping, that's no big deal. Lift it out.
Taking the film on that? Oh yeah.
There's water, and then there is the insides of his engine. Notice the little bit of water. The little bit of water in his number 1 intake port there. That would definitely blow his engine in about 10 seconds or so. The problem here is not his head gasket at all. His heads do not need to come off this car. If you notice a deterioration here and all the sand and grit, his lower intake gasket has completely deteriorated, leaving the water jacket to leak into the number 1 cylinder.
The head still needs to come off. You need to dry all of that stuff out. And you need to change your oil.
Yeah, the oil's gone.
So the intake is full of water now, the oil's full of water, and the number 1 is full of water. The whole situation here is the deterioration of the lower intake gasket.
Of the shit that Tim put on there.
And, well, this you have to do.
Be honest.
You have to put RTV on the bottom here. That's the only thing to seal the bottom. So he didn't do anything wrong. It's just that this whole upper gasket is deteriorated and gone. That is bad. Again, there's no problem with the heads, no problem with the head gasket, so there is a possibility of getting away without taking the head off, but there is a chance that if that cylinder is full of water, start the car right now, the engine will just explode. So